This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles, on the Rockstar Radio Network. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money, and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author U and the Book Shepherd on the Rockstar Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Oh, well, we have a fabulous show with one of my very favorite people in the whole wide world who will be with us as we go through the hour. And I'm going to keep Georgia on with us for the entire hour on your guide to book publishing, because that her topic, her skill set is all about around, through, over, under, any hurdle, any obstacle, any barrier that you can think of with social media. Georgia knows Facebook, she knows Twitter, she knows Pinterest, she knows Google+, you name it, and throw it at her. She can give you some amazing tips and techniques. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have her on, because Georgia is one of our featured speakers, is going to do a double workshop at the Author U Extravaganza in the Mile High City of Denver, May 3rd through 5th. And she will be on the entire afternoon of the 4th that will be literally tingling the participant toes. And for those of you who are listening today, it would be just smart to make sure that you, if you're out of Colorado, get a ticket and come on in. If you're in Colorado, make sure that you do go to the authoru.org website and sign up. So welcome, Georgia. We're so glad to have you this afternoon.
Thank you, Judith. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so social media, and you and I have been on Skype several times today,
Yes,
through the week, because you are helping me fine-tune what in the devil Facebook is doing with timelines. So,
I know, and I'm just afraid, Judith, when I'm out speaking, I'm going to have this great session prepared that I'm going to wake up that morning and they're going to change it on me again. So always got to be on your toes with social media.
Well, and that's what they do. Of course, Facebook's notorious, and you have some strong feelings maybe why they're doing it. But let's just kind of jump in. And I know that you had said as consumers continue to flock to the Internet, the whole Internet marketing industry, it will evolve, is evolving as we literally talk right now. So it's a great medium. I think for authors, what I love about it is that if you have a low budget for supporting your book, this is the way to really get it rocking and rolling and do things that you would have had to spend mega thousands of dollars to do it with.
Absolutely. And that's a great lead in, Judith. One of the things that I think a lot of people really have a hard time getting their arms around is, they're so familiar with the traditional what I'll call outbound marketing, but they really don't understand inbound marketing. And inbound marketing is really what this whole social media content marketing is all about. And if I could kind of sum it up, it's a two-way medium, and people have the opportunity to interact with a brand. It's not just that you're pushing your message out to people. You're having an opportunity to interact directly with your fans, with your followers, with potential joint venture partners, radio hosts, whatever, And I think a lot of people really just don't understand that. And so I will spend a lot of time on this when I'm in Denver talking about that, and really, talking about what is inbound marketing, what applies to inbound marketing, and then we're going to get down later into, what the tools are. Social media sometimes is thought of as just tools. Bottom line, and I read your recent post, and I love the picture of the iceberg, and you're absolutely dead set on, okay? I thought writing my books were the hardest part, because I spent so much time on it. But my God, that was just the tip. I mean, that was just a little piece under the bottom of the iceberg. There's just so much more that people have to, bring into account as they think that they want to be an author and figure out how they can effectively get that out.
Well, the thing about that, Georgia, though, is that most people, I mean, you got the idea that it was the tip of the iceberg early in the game. Most of these authors, I had a, very soul-searching conversation with one of the authors I'd worked with that I finally said to him, I said, so Jim, you've given up? You're going to throw in the towel? You're going to put all this energy and all this work into it, and you're going to kind of walk away? And he says, well, I made some calls, and I do this. And I said, but you have to make a lot of calls. You have to do a lot of stretching out. You're going to have to, what are you doing on Twitter? What are you doing with LinkedIn groups? You've got a business book. What are you doing? Well, I'm not doing anything. So why in the hell aren't you?
I think people are just overwhelmed by it. I mean, seriously, Judith, a lot of people, like it's like deers in the headlight. Oh my God, I got to go on Facebook. Oh my God, what's Twitter? And they just don't have the basic concepts. And that's why up front, I spend a lot of time really getting people to understand what the main benefits of this whole inbound marketing concept is. Mm-hmm. And once they get that, and once then you go through what you would do in any traditional marketing, and I've spent, I hate to admit, 40 plus years, in business, a lot of the beginning stuff's the same. It's just the tools have changed. And
Georgia, with your inbound marketing, I think that maybe a good example would be to just literally ask, how many of you have ever been on a live television show or listen to a live radio show, and all of a sudden they say, Susan tweets in blah, 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 and they're making online comments, and they're using that exactly in that information of continuing to weave and create their show on the spot.
Exactly. I mean, it is so powerful. And I think, if I can step back, a lot of people ask me, how the heck did you ever get into this?
Well, let's ask you that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your pedigree?
My pedigree. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh my God.
Not all 40 years. But,
no, I won't. Yeah, you've been through that story, Judith.
I heard the story. But for our listeners, it's because of Georgia and her vision and being so ahead of the wave that she was able to encourage get the head of Time Warner literally to digitize their entire library before anyone even thought about doing that.
Yeah, I started my career at IBM, and at that time I had graduated with my bachelor's, and I was only 20 years old. I graduated in 3 years, and at IBM I was always kind of a renegade. I was one of the first female salespeople back then that sold big, large mainframes and stuff. But I was always intrigued by the latest and greatest stuff. So when the personal computer came out, I immediately saw how, while they thought they were marketing it to the consumers, I saw how it could be applied to business. And if it was sold to business, eventually it would evolve itself down into the consumer market. And I remember one day going up to one of the vice presidents. I said, you know what? I'm going to sell 30,000 personal computers. Eastman Kodak. They thought I was on something funny. And not only did I sell 30,000, I sold 70,000. And I always have been out there on the edge. And after I left IBM, I went to work for Kodak, and I was I was the worldwide general manager for their digital initiatives. And so I helped to launch Kodak's entree into that field, working side by side actually with my husband, and we built a product called Photo CD, which was the first time that you could actually digitize images and put them on a compact disc, writable compact disc. And then we actually sold that vision to people like John Scully at Apple and Bill Gates, and I actually got to meet Bill several times. And yes, he is as goofy as people think he is. He rocks, and his glasses are all smudged, and he hunches over, but one heck of a smart guy. And then we got brave and decided, if we're going to work this hard, we're going to do it on our own. So we actually did a startup out of New York, and we started working with some of the major publishers. And while I was there, I started actually working first with the New York Daily News, and I got to see their archive, which was absolutely phenomenal. Just a huge building filled with everything from glass plates of Babe Ruth and the orphanage to the history of Coney Island, and I just was intrigued by this. And I went to my boss and I said, we have to digitize this. He said, what do you mean digitize? I said, we need to take all these images and we need to put them in digital form, because you know what? People are going to, like, the internet, this thing called the internet is going to be big, and people are going to be using images, and people are going to be, you know, getting these things on CD-ROMs and reusing, repurposing. So he allowed me to go ahead and do that, because they actually own the Daily News. And actually, a little aside, I hired monks and nuns in monasteries to actually do the keywording, which is another whole story. And then once it worked there, we decided, you know what, if it's going to work with New York Daily News, we went to Time Inc. And lo and behold, we convinced them that we would digitize. Back then, it was like 60 million images. And I'll tell you, I still get goosebumps when I think about how I went into their vault and I opened up this, you know, hermetically sealed vault door and pulled open this file cabinet, and out comes an original of Mussolini and Hitler. You know,
wow. Oh, amazing.
You know, or the original image, the first image of the atomic bomb, or the sailor and nurse in Times Square. Mm-hmm. So we called ourselves kind of photo archivists, you know, or archaeologists. And from there, it just led to, you know, I was always on the cutting edge. And then finally, we decided, we took that company public. And then Fuji ended up buying our company. And I was Fuji's first senior female vice president, and ran their digital imaging company. And back in the early 2000s, I was all excited about how photos could be put up on the internet, and people could, you know, get a picture in an hour at their local drugstore or Walmart. And so we built the first system to do that. And then we decided, you know, the kids are all grown up. I have 6, and we said we'd retire to the beach. Well, that didn't last long because I got very bored. And so, you know, I have a son who's multiply handicapped. He's legally blind and has CP, and he just wanted friends. So I decided, you know what, this is a great way for him to reach out to people. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to judge him. You know, they're not going to see him and immediately, you know, see that he's someone that they may want to be a little standoffish with. So I built him a website, got him a Skype account, put up a YouTube channel, put up a Facebook channel or Facebook page, and he's now a rock star. And I'm like, whoa.
Which is an amazing thing that we can do. Well, when we come back, we're going to run into and thank the people who help make these shows possible here at Georgia. But when we come back, I'd like to leapfrog now what you've done with developing that Skype and that website and show how that ties in with authoring.
You got it.
Okay.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Is there a book in you or another? Author U will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. Author U brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through Author U's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, Author U is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join Author U today through its website at authoru.org. Follow Author U on Twitter at AuthorU and on Facebook at Author U, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. Author U, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
Change the way you publish online. WaveCloud is a new forum for authors to manage all their books' information in one place from start to finish, including pricing and listing summary. To learn more or sign up for email updates, visit wavecloud.com.
Every picture tells a story. and it's a truism that people do judge a book by its cover. Nick Sellinger and NZ Graphics have been in the business of producing superior graphic cover design and interior layout for self-published authors, independent and traditional publishers for years. He has developed a reputation for excellent work, fast turnarounds, and best of all, affordable pricing. NZ Graphics also produces ebooks and book marketing materials such as posters, sell sheets, postcards, bookmarks, business cards, logos, and more. Books designed for his clients have won multiple book awards, including Best Book Award by U.S. Book News, multiple Evie Awards from the Colorado Independent Publishers Association, Indie Book Awards, the San Francisco Book Festival Award, and Freedom Medal Award from Valley Forge. Visit www.nzgraphics.com or call 303-985-4174 for more details about making your book the success it should be. Mention that you are an FOJ, friend of Judith's, and that you heard about NZ Graphics on your guide to book publishing.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, with me this hour is the amazing Georgia McCabe, who knows more things about electronics, social media, digitizing items than anybody out there that I know of. And it's amazing. She packs this all in this frame that's well under 5 feet. And
oh my God!
Now we're telling secrets, Georgia? But one of the things is that she referred to in the first section about an article that Joel Friedlander put out on his blog, and Joel's known as the book designer today, where I was talking about marketing, and it is location, 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 and marketing for the success of your book will, or the lack of it, I should say, the lack of marketing is going to kill your book. And why would you put all this time and energy and your heart and soul in creating your child and not support it? And supporting is on the short run as well as the long run. So what George is going to bring forward at the Author You Extravaganza is really how you can really drill down, deep dive, and really create roots that have water in them so they won't die. And social media is going to make that happen. So let's start off and talk about some of the content marketing and what you do.
Okay. So, first, before I do that, Judith, I just want to, quickly just kind of define what I mean by inbound marketing, which leads to, I'll give you examples of inbound marketing tactics. So inbound marketing is basically a marketing strategy that focuses on getting found by customers. You earn your way in contrast to outbound marketers who have to buy, beg, or bug their way in. So some examples of inbound marketing tactics include, I'll put it in two categories, one which I call content marketing, and then the second is social media. So for content marketing, you can think of this as, a blog, an ebook, a podcast, white papers, infographics. And it's basically where you have interesting, useful, educational content. And then that combined with a strong presence in social media, just increases your effectiveness substantially. So when we think about content marketing, one of the most important things that if you're launching a book that you really have to have is a blog. And, a lot of people get concerned, how do I do that? There's a number of different blogging platforms. I happen to be a big believer in WordPress, and people get nervous about that, like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? I'm telling you, you can get a blog built or a simple website built for as little as $300. And there are a number of places, and I'm going to cover this at Author You, where you can go and have that done. Now, that is to say, if you're afraid to try it yourself. And so once you have, you've got your book or multiple books or your website, then what you want to do is, some different ideas you can put into that is you can post your excerpts from your book. You don't want to give the whole book away, obviously. You can include good content that got left on the cutting room floor, when your book was edited. You could interview people in your field, people that complement whatever you're doing. You can answer questions from readers, without disrupting any privacy barriers. You can post news or information related to the field. You can host a contest or a giveaway. Those things can be done not only on Facebook and Twitter, but you can also do that very effectively on your blog. In fact, there's a really cool tool, which I'll actually demonstrate at Author U, that's free, that allows you to do that. And I just did that recently at a show for a bunch of photographers in February, and I actually got 7 different companies to participate. And what we required people to do, it was a sweepstakes. We got all these companies to donate, what they were going to give away. It was close to $5,000. And then in order to enter, people had to, become a fan of the fan pages, had to be, subscribed to their Twitter feed, had to comment on their blog, and had to visit a YouTube video that they put together. Well, it was incredibly successful. We had over 30,000 entries. And we did that. And not only did we have it on the blog, but we also had it on Facebook. But then we used social media to, really promote that out. You could have a weekly gimmick, like, Question for Fridays, or you could be on live on Facebook, which I'll come to in a minute, and actually have Ask the Author. You could give your opinion on something. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of what you can do. So that's one of the most important things that you absolutely need to do. The next thing that I want to make sure that everybody thinks about is, so that's that kind of content marketing. I also believe heavily in using things like infographics. And I'll give a little tip here a lot of people don't know about, but there's a site called Fiverr, and it's Fiverr, anything for $5. And you can get some of the most amazing infographics created for $5. In fact, you can get about anything for $5. But they have all different types of subject matters. So whether it's, help in blog writing, if you need someone to, give you some assistance or some ideas. Obviously we're writers, so we don't need people to actually write that for us. You can get help on technical issues if you have a challenge with WordPress, just about anything. You can even have someone write a marriage proposal for you. So it's called Fiverr, anything for $5, and it's true, you can get it for $5. So, that's what I kind of, consider as content marketing. We're going to go through a lot more examples, and I'll actually give some simple instructions and show people how easy it really is to do. Then, obviously, an author needs, at minimum, I would say, 3 sites to participate in. Facebook, a Twitter account. If you could, I'd like to see them also have YouTube, but we're going to talk a little bit later about Pinterest, which is the latest and greatest tool that's out there. So on Facebook, and in fact, there's a great case study that was actually done by Guy Kawasaki, and Guy had a book called Enchantment, and he chose, instead of doing any other outbound type marketing techniques, he only launched the book with social media. And so first he built his website and his blog. He did a lot of the things that I just mentioned there. He actually put quizzes up and stuff like that. He then used a tool, which I actually use, called eCarn, ECAIRN. I'm not going to kid you. It's not inexpensive, but it's the kind of thing where you can subscribe and then cancel at any time. And this tool was incredible, and I use it all the time to really reach out to that tribe of people. Because obviously what you want to do is you want to find a way that people can review your book and, find ways that you can be a guest blogger on other blogs, maybe do something like a blog carnival or whatever. But what this eCarn allows you to do is to go into a tribe. So, for instance, my new book that you're helping me with, it's coming out in spring, Short Woman, Tall Order, it's really aimed at women. And I can go in and I can pick that generic demographic. But then I can go in and I can search on topics of interest. And I can put in any kind of topic that I want, to kind of query on. And it will go out in the blogosphere, and it will come back and give you who the high, medium, and low influencers are. And then it gives you the opportunity to see the kinds of things that they write about, but also gives you information on how you can connect with them.
Okay, so it's that website is, again, which? Is that eCarn? eCarn,
eCairn.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome tool.
Yeah, and I was going to tell you that John Kramer on the Thursday night is going to be talking about working with the super blogs. So that's a perfect thing to tie into it, how to do a book tour via the super blogs.
Right. And what I love about this is, if I was, my last book I did on social, it was called Social Morphosis, and it's all about social media and stuff. But I probably, I'm not going to reach out. I mean, I'm good friends with Mari Smith and a couple of others, but, it would be highly unlikely, that I would be able to connect with like a Chris Brogan, who's, a high influencer. But there are plenty of medium influencer bloggers that really can have a tremendous ability, and they're always looking for people. So this site is just an outstanding tool to kind of reach out. There are other, I received a call last week from Vocus, and they tried to sell me a database of media, companies. And I mean, the thing was $3,500. With eCarn, I happen to get a subscription every month, which is a third of what that would cost. But even if you wanted to do it just for a couple of months, I'd highly, highly encourage your listeners to check into that.
Well, sure. If you're going to do a specific book review, book blogger, and trying to influence, it would be well worth to spend a few $100s to identify these people versus $3,000, because I get those calls too, to put that together to really get your campaign. I think it's a great idea.
And what I love about it, Judith, is that when it goes out and it searches, it gives you a graphical view so that when I search, let's say, mommy blogs, I can see people that write about fitness. I can see mommy blogs that write about parenting. I can see mommy bloggers that, might write about working moms, or I love dogs, or,
Yeah.
So it groups them, and it's just a phenomenal tool.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, we're coming to the bottom of the hour. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll really get more into how to use those with the content marketing style. I'm Judith Briles. You're listening to Your Guide to Book Publishing.
This is Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Since 1987, Color House Graphics has set the standard for quality book production. Whether you decide to print a small quantity of books or need a large print run, depend on Color House to help you. You'll receive professional help and advice the moment you reach one of our representatives. If you mention hearing about us on Your Guide to Book Publishing with Judith Briles, we will provide you a discount on the first order you place. To speak with a project manager, call us toll-free at 800-454-1916 or visit us at www.colorhousegraphics.com.
Do you need postcards that make a statement? How about business cards, flyers, brochures, or NCR forms? Tuvets is the solution for all your printing needs. Providing services specially designed for authors, we deliver exceptional quality colored printing. Most important of all, we specialize in reducing your printing costs. No more waiting. No more standing in lines at your local printer. Online proofing. With our pricing tools calculator, you can get instant quotes on all your printing products, as well as shipping rates all over the United States. Just a few clicks of the mouse and you're on the way to discovering how easy and convenient online color printing should be. Contact our friendly, human account representatives. We recognize that you want answers, not voice prompts. Visit our website at www.tu-vets.com or call 1-800-894-8977.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers, creating beautiful and well-made books. We're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, with me, my guest this hour is Georgia McCabe, and Georgia and I met at a conference a couple of years ago, or I guess a year ago, on publishing, and we just found that we clicked and we were connected, and we wanted to stay in touch. And what I found out about Georgia was she was brilliant in all things related to the internet and the cyber world. And then the other thing is that I knew as for Author U, as we put together this year's extravaganza, that I wanted her, we needed her. The authors need someone who has got the moxie and the savvy to really share the truth and not a pitch, promo, buy my stuff, that will really get into saying, no, here, my child author, here's kind of some of the things you need to do in putting this stuff together to create the empire so your world will rock. So Georgia is going to be one of the stars at the Author U extravaganza, May 3rd through 5 in the Mile High City of Colorado, Denver. And you can get information with all the details that she will be doing, as well as 10 other amazing presenters that are experts in book and author platform building and publishing and marketing. We have a heavy emphasis at marketing, and we will rock and roll with that. As John Kramer, who is doing the opening session literally Thursday, he's going to do a deep dive workshop on ebook and p-book marketing. And Joel Friedlander, who is the book designer, said literally just coming to that is worth the price of admission. And you've got all these others. We figured that the value of everyone that we're bringing to you for less than $400, which includes all your food, is over $50,000 of combined consulting. So if you want to make your book rock and roll and soar to the cyber stratosphere, you want to be in Denver, May 3 to 5. Get all the information and details at authoru.org. And with that said, we have a major, major change in Cyberland, and that's with Facebook, right, Georgia?
Oh, yes.
Let's get into it.
It's happening tomorrow, folks. So for those of you who do have a Facebook account, tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon at some time, you're going to see that your Facebook page is going to totally change. And it is all now going to what they call the timeline for brands. And what that means is, and I wish I could share my screen with everybody right now, but, today on everybody's Facebook page, you have that nice profile picture over the left, and we used to use that very creatively. We'd have maybe a really nice picture, we'd have a call to action, get your book now, you could have your website on there, your email, you could use it to, to really, promote out just about anything that you want. And now it's going to change, and it's going to get rid of that profile picture. So what you need to do is go in and you need to develop a cover photo that's 851 pixels by 315 pixels. And in fact, Judith, if people go to my website or to my Facebook page, I've covered a lot of these tips. I have a document that they can download that gives them all of this. So I'm sure this is a little bit too much to grasp without actually seeing it.
Well, Georgia, let's give them your Facebook and let's give them all those pages. Why don't you share?
Sure. My website is georgiamccabe.com, spelled just like the state, Georgia, MCCABE.com. And my Facebook is facebook.com/Georgia L. McCabe. And I've been putting up tips of the day and all of that. So, like I said, I have a nice nice document they can download. But you're going to want to do that because what's going to happen is it's going to default and it's going to look real funky. The other thing that's going away, Judith, is you can no longer, where people have paid a lot of money to have these tabs built, and people, a lot of marketing techniques that everybody taught people was to say, like our page to get access to this content. Well, guess what? That's gone away. You can no longer do that. And in fact, on your cover photo, they are so specific, you can't even have your website on there. You cannot have any kind of price or purchase information. You can't have your email address on that big photo. You can't tell people to like or share or get it now. Very, very strict. And some people who actually did this, in the last couple of weeks and didn't follow the rules, their page got taken down for 15 days. So I'm going to actually be running a webinar on this, Judith, in the next day or two, and maybe we can promote that out. If people just follow my blog or my website or my Facebook, they'll get access to that.
So why don't you give us the link to that so we'll send it out to the AuthorU community to sign on.
Okay, cool. I definitely will do that. The other thing that's happened is now, since those tabs have gone away, now what happens is they display 4 little boxes under your profile image or your timeline image. Your photos will always be there, so you want to make sure that you get the nicest photo up first. And then each of those tabs can be something unique. So, like we're working with you, Judith, on AuthorU, we're going to have a tab that's going to have all of our events posted. The other really cool thing that you can do now is you can actually bring your entire website, functional website, right into Facebook. And that's using an iframe app. But when I go to AuthorU, I have a Sensei trick that's going to show people how easy that is to do. They can do it themselves with like a click of 2 buttons. Isn't
that interesting? Because if you can bring your website into the Facebook community, there are a zillion links. There are phone numbers. There's contacts. That makes no sense. What are they doing?
They're trying to become that default community. They want it all. And so like on my Facebook page, when people see that, they'll see that they can actually get to my website. I'll say, go to Georgia's website. You can download your free, I have like a planning calendar that they can get for free. They can get to my Pinterest board, everything right within Facebook. So anyways, you want to think about what those are. But the real trick I want to make sure everybody understands is that it will default to how many likes you have. That's going to be one of those little tabs. And what happens is if a competitor or people click on that, they'll actually now be able to see your top demographics. And I did an interesting test this morning because I'm doing a blog video post on this. And I clicked on, it was a guest post, and I clicked on one of their competitors. And they had, I don't know, 10x the number of fans that this client had. And as I looked, and it's a U.S. company, and as I looked at their top demographics, it was people from Sri Lanka, and their age was, 18 to 20. So it was clear that these people bought fans. And, in the old days, everything was about, I have 5,000 fans, or it's not that case anymore. Your Facebook is no longer going to be judged by how many fans you have, but it's more about the type of content you have. The other thing that's changed on this, which I'm kind of excited about, is that people can now message you. And again, that's a setting that you can put up on your Facebook page. So you never used to be able to get messages directly, to your fan page, and now you can get them and you can respond to people. So that's very cool. But there's, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, the question I have on that is if you're not on Facebook, let's say you only go on a little bit of a frame a day, or I have to confess for me that I'm rarely on it. I do postings and stuff, but I've got too much other stuff going on, so it's not open. Will they send me an email if someone is instant messaging me, or I won't see it at all unless I'm on?
If you're on, you can set up so you get messages from Facebook, but I don't think you want to do that in your email. But it'll actually show up in your admin panel. And the admin panel now is much more easier to see. In fact, it's right at the top. And so what happens is you'll actually see when you're logged in, I got a new message from so-and-so. And then you just click reply and you can reply back. So it's a way to have a nice private conversation. Like some of my clients will get, and they love it now, because people used to post like, I didn't get my product in time. Well, now people are just being a little bit more sensitive, and they're actually sending a message. So it's not like a public thing where everybody can see that. So it's a really, and in my webinar, I'm going to go through this in detail and show people how that works. The other thing that I think is really exciting about, what's happening is that you now can, just really, on the way the old landing pages used to be, they were like 540 pixels wide. Well, they've now embellished that to, I think it's 815 pixels wide. And so it's just visually, it's just really magnificent. So, I think it's going to take time, as with anything, for people to get used to. But I think once they see some of the tricks that I can show them, like, for instance, now you can take a post and you can post that at the top. And you can actually enlarge it, Judith, so it goes across the double width.
Wow. Okay, so when we come back, let's get into that just a little bit more on Facebook and how to excel with it.
Great.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Writing and reading are moving to the cloud. WaveCloud represents a whole new community for writers and readers to connect, communicate, evaluate, and share. Writers hone their craft and build their business. Readers build their favorites. Sign up for updates at wavecloud.com.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider, or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today, 303-888-8255. 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, this hour is whizzing by. I hate to say it. And we have with us Georgia McCabe, who is one of our featured stars for the Author U Extravaganza, May 3rd through 5 here in Colorado. And if you are really serious about being successful with your book, I don't care if your book is not in print yet. There are all these things that you will do to use that George is talking about, and that others that are speaking and doing content, in-depth workshops throughout the 2.5 days that we'll be working at there at the authoru.org website. You can get the details. Be smart, be savvy. The early bird ends this weekend, so you want to sign up now. So with that, Georgia, we were talking about kind of moaning and groaning and excited a little bit about some of the things that's going on in Facebook land. So let's continue along that bent.
Okay, so those are some of the changes, but I think, one of the things, again, that I'll teach out there is I'm going to teach people how they can get engagement going on their website. And in fact, there's a tool called EdgeRank. And what you can do is you can go in, it's edgerank.com, and it'll basically tell you what your EdgeRank formula is. Facebook basically decides, given a certain formula, how often you talk, how often people interact, and the delay that between your posts, and they'll create this EdgeRank formula. The higher that is, the more likely your posts are going to be seen in your fans' newsfeed, okay, and in their friends' newsfeed. So you want to use some techniques that are extremely effective. And here's just a simple thing that a lot of people don't even realize. Just try a simple yes or no question. Try it tonight. Everybody go ahead and say yes or no. Have you ever visited our website? And by making it so simple, all they have to do is say yes or no. You'll be amazed at how many people will do that. Another trick, what you want to do so that you can be seen more dominantly, is whenever you post something, always add an image. And there's a lot of places. I'll give people a ton of information where they can get, free copyright images. Always have an image there. And then that will appear much larger in the news feed. Keep it short. Ask a question. It was a cool example of this. It was actually done by a jeweler. And he took a picture of a diamond, an engagement ring, and on it he said, "What does the ring of your dreams look like? Like this status if it's something you like." So every one of those had a simple call, call to action. A lot of people just, they don't really understand how they do that, but that's great ways of getting more and more engagement. Other engaging techniques, I'm a big, big fan of contests, and I'm going to go into a lot of detail at Author U because you have to understand the way you do a contest, right?
Yes,
because
exactly.
If you don't use a third-party app, you're violating Facebook's rules, and you can be banned. So, contests are great ways. You can, but again, going back, click like if you wish you were reading right now, or click like if you remember your Sweet 16. I mean, you can get, as writers, you guys can, and authors, you can come up with a ton of different examples. And so you want to do that, and you want to then think about how you can create those new tabs to have engaging content. One of my authors that I work with, we actually have the ability to download a free chapter. And so she gives everybody access to one free chapter of her book. Tons and tons of examples of how you can do that. And obviously we don't have enough time to do that today. Another thing you can do is fill in the blank. So, if I could be anywhere right now, I would go to, and then you just have, a long underline. I need blank cups of coffee to function this morning, I mean, so you want to make it so simple. But a lot of people, like I said, they'll go get an article that they read and they'll just post it out. But nobody, these little simple techniques are great to get that edge rank up, and I'll take you through tons of those. I know we're running against time here, but one of the things, Judith, that I did want to talk about is Pinterest.
Oh, yeah, let's get into Pinterest. And I know you're going to spend a lot of time at the Author U extravaganza event on this, but let's get in it. It's the hottest thing going.
Yes, it is. And actually, I told you this afternoon when I originally went on, I was so excited about it. And I actually used it for in prep of the new book that you and I are going to be launching soon. And, it's aimed at women. And
right.
Should I give away my title?
Yes.
But it's called Short Woman, Tall Order. That was Judith's brilliant title that she came up with. Yeah. But basically it's the demographic is working moms. It's people who are stressed out, don't know how to juggle everything. It's also aimed at people that maybe their husband lost a job and they want to get back into the marketplace. But everybody trying to do everything. They want to have a career. They want to have a family. They want to have the best organized closet. And anyway, so I started doing this in preparation for it. And so when I did that, I actually took in the About Me and took a little segment out of my foreword, put that in. And then I took each thing and I thought, okay, well, what would people really be interested in? And one thing that a lot of people immediately go to on Pinterest is quotes. And, you can get some incredible, things like, I'm so stressed today with a funny picture or whatever. I would say I have a board called, I call it Modern Female Lifestyle Disorder, a woman that wants it all and won't settle for less, And I have a bunch of those quotes in there. But, as an example, you could have a board that could feature images based on a topic from your book. So let's say you're an author of a travel memoir. You could create a board with photos of places you visited. Or if you're a cookbook author, you can share quick and easy recipes, for healthy living. If you wrote a book about parenting, you could share pictures of educational toys or craft ideas that you can do with your child. Heck, if you were a vampire novel, you could share spooky images. I mean, there's all kinds of things. But what you want to do, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's not limited to, you're doing a lot of nonfiction, but for fiction people, oh my gosh, you could do all kinds of things with the development of storylines and your characters and what should you have them do and how should they look and address. I mean, you could have a great time.
And the other thing, Judith, you can allow people to also pin on your boards. Mm-hmm. So you could have one where you could it's like a focus group. Getting other people to give you different ideas. And that's what we call a collaborative board. You can build your audience. It's really easy. You can go in and search for keywords or phrases, to find different pins or images. The other thing, obviously, you want to do as the author is, if you do have a blog, get a nice image. And then what you do is you link that to the URL of the post itself. So, to me, first of all, it's fun. It's addicting. Again, just like any other social media platform, though, you have to have, what are you really trying to do from a marketing perspective? And we are going to go into that in detail in May.
Well, I just a few things you've said about creating the collaborative board really spikes my interest. Because that's something that I think an author can do on any topic, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, doesn't matter. And you really could build that tribe, that crowd, your fans, whatever you want to call them,
Exactly.
in this area. But you could really, really stretch it and expand it. So I think that what you're going to be sharing and those tips and techniques, and the fact is that we'll be able to do it visually. That they can see the visual displays happening and adding in additions will just be amazing.
The other thing, Judith, for those people that do bring their computers, I'll be doing what I call content mirrored instruction. Mm-hmm. So when I'm showing something, they can actually follow along with me so that I can teach them some of these tricks. So not only are they listening to me, seeing what I'm doing, but they'll be doing it themselves, and that'll sink in. And my goal is that they're not going to be afraid of it anymore. They're going to embrace it, and they're going to see how easy it is.
And fun. And fun. And that's really the key to it. And by the way, Georgia, everyone will have laptops. What people learn about AuthorU is we expect you to bring them. We expect you to work through whatever the presenter is talking about, so it becomes a hands-on learning a live laboratory. Cool. So you get it.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, we've got 1 minute to go. Any last minute tip you'd like to leave with us?
Yeah, I think, someone said to me the other day, they said, Georgia, I want you to give me the top 2 most important tools that you can have for social media. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this is really a tool, but first I'm going to say it's your brain. It takes hard work. I use an analogy, Judith. It's like painting. 95% of it is in the prep work. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think, particular clients that I serve, they judge it by what's on the wall. So you really still have to, you still have to use your brain. You still have to be creative and think of it from a marketing.
Okay, number 2?
And number 2 is time management. You can get sucked in. You can be enticed to buy a lot of stuff that, there's a lot of people out there. I would stay focused in the niche with people like yourself. You're here with your niche helping authors. You want people who are going to show them how they can market and use these tools in that niche.
And with that, we got to close off. This is Judith Briles. Thank you to Georgia McCabe. Next week, Brian Judd will be joining us, another speaker at the AuthorU Extravaganza. We're talking marketing fiction and to libraries. I'm Judith Briles. Until next week.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles.